This is the TUTTIO Dual Motor Ebike, also called the Adria 26 in some listings, and it's the most hold-on tight e-bike I've ridden this year. 2 hub motors, one in each wheel, all-wheel drive, and a battery that's marketed 2 different ways depending on where you look. I'll explain what that meant for me on the road, how fast it actually goes, how far it really rides, and who should buy it. Key features that matter to me are the dual 2500-watt peak motors with a claimed combined 210 newtons of torque, a 52-volt battery listed as 25 hour in some places and 30 hours in others, full suspension with a lockable front fork and a rear shock, 26 by 4.0-inch fat tires, hydraulic disc brakes, a Shimano 7-speed drivetrain, and a bar-mounted switch that lets me toggle single motor or dual motor. The brand presentation can be confusing. Some product pages say TUTTIO, some say PHN Holun, and the model name shows up as Adria 26. That mismatch had me double-checking everything from the box to the battery sticker before the first ride. Assembly was mostly painless. It arrived about 90% put together. I had to mount the front wheel, set the bars, install the pedals, straighten the front fender, and adjust the brakes. The rotor rubbed a little out of the box. A caliper centering fix took it away. I snugged all the stem and suspension bolts and pumped the tires to 20 psi for mixed pavement and gravel. The included charger is 3A. A full charge from low took a bit under 9 hours for me. Let's talk power. With both motors on and the throttle, this thing lunges. Torque off the line is strong enough that I set the controller to a softer start so it doesn't jump when I'm doing slow U-turns. On flat pavement, my handlebar display showed 41 miles per hour at top, but my GPS app logged 36 miles per hour. That difference is normal on e-bikes with optimistic speedometers, and it matched what I felt. It's still seriously quick for a fat tire bike. Climbing is where dual motors really shine. Long grades that usually bog single-motor hub bikes just didn't faze this one. On a steep neighborhood hill, I stayed over 20 miles per hour on throttle with no drama, and the front motor helped keep traction when the back tire hit loose gravel. Braking feels appropriately strong once the pads bed in. The levers have a light initial bite and plenty of power deeper in the pull. No fade on repeated stops from 25 to 30 miles per hour. Suspension is comfortable for cruising. The fork has basic adjustments and a lockout, and the rear shock takes the edge off potholes and washboard. If you're picturing technical mountain trails, this isn't the right tool. At about 88 pounds on my luggage scale, it prefers wider lines, open dirt roads, and paved paths. It's stable and planted, not flickable. Weight and size are a real consideration. I'm 5'11", and even with the seat dropped a touch, swinging a leg over is a bit of a step. It's a big frame with big tires. Carrying it upstairs is a no. Putting it on a typical trunk rack is also a no. I rolled it on a hitch rack rated for heavy e-bikes and still felt the heft. In my opinion, this is a garage bike you ride from home, not a downtown commuter that lives in an apartment. Now the battery situation. Marketing copy varies. Some pages call it 52 volt 20 hour, which is 1300 hours. Others call it 1560 hours, which would be 52 to 30 hour. My pack label said 52 volts 25 hour, and my charge meter put roughly 1.3 kilowatt into the pack from near empty, which lines up with 25 hour. From my experience, that matters a lot for range expectations. Riding the fun way, dual motor on, lots of throttle, 20 to 30 miles per hour most of the time. I saw 23 to 31 miles before power tapered. On a longer loop, using pass level 1 to 2, single motor most of the time, cruising 15 to 20 miles per hour and actually pedaling, I got just over 50 miles and rolled home with a bar left. Hitting the advertised up to 90 plus miles would require very light assist, mellow speeds, and a lot of pedaling. It's doable in theory, but it's not why most people buy a dual motor 5000 watt peak machine. The range reality is simple. The more you use the power you paid for, the faster the battery drops. Let me break down the riding modes in plain terms. Pass is pedal assist. The bike helps you when it senses you pedaling. Level 1 and 2 sip power and feel like a steady tailwind. Level 3 and above start to feel sporty. Single motor is a front or rear motor only, which saves energy and still feels like a normal fast e-bike. Dual motor is the full send. Walk mode crawls the bike along when you hold a button so you can push it up a ramp. Cruise keeps your current speed without holding the throttle, which is handy on longer straight paths. I mostly rode single motor pass on paths, then clicked dual motor for hills or quick bursts. That toggle is a great way to balance fun and range. Fit and controls are straightforward. The LCD shows speed, battery bars, pass level, trip, and you can switch from kilometers to miles in the settings. The thumb throttle is on the left, gear shifter on the right. The 7-speed Shimano drivetrain is basic, but shifts cleanly when I let off the throttle for a moment. The fat tires add a ton of comfort and grip on grass, gravel, and even a light dusting of snow. They do hum on pavement, and they add rolling resistance, which is part of why the bike feels relaxed below 30 miles per hour and eats more power above that. Heat management has been solid. I did repeated climbs in warm weather. The controller got warm to the touch but never triggered a cutout. The motors were warm afterward, which is normal, and cooled quickly while rolling. It's worth giving the system a minute between hard pulls on very hot days. Also, retorque your spokes and check fasteners after the first couple rides. This level of torque can loosen things on any high-power hub setup. There are quirks. The headlight is bright enough to be seen, but I added a secondary light for dark roads. The rear shock is a bit stiff for lighter riders. I left the tire pressure a couple PSI lower to compensate on choppy trails. The kickstand is sturdy, but can sink in soft dirt. Use a puck if you park on grass. The included seat is fine for short blasts. I swapped to a wider saddle for longer cruises. And the seat post drop could be longer. I might add a suspension post for comfort and a bit more height range. It's perfect for riders who want raw acceleration, stable high-speed cruising on pavement and gravel, and the confidence that comes from all-wheel traction on loose surfaces. If your daily ride is a mix of neighborhood streets, bike lanes, and fire roads, this feels like a muscle cruiser that eats that use case. If you need to carry an e-bike upstairs, fit it on a lightweight rack, or weave through crowded paths at jogging speed, this is overkill. From my experience, the biggest value here is performance per dollar. You get serious power and a big capacity battery for less than many single-motor premium bikes. The trade-offs are weight, some basic components around the edges, and that battery spec confusion. I'd recommend this for riders with ground-level storage who know they want dual motors and understand that real-world range depends entirely on how hard they twist the throttle. Also, check local rules. A 40-ish mph e-bike needs to be ridden responsibly, with real protection, and on routes where that speed makes sense. In my opinion, the smartest setup is to treat dual motor like a boost button. Cruise in single motor PS at 18 to 22 miles per hour, kick on both motors for climbs, headwinds, or quick overtakes, and you'll get a great mix of fun and range. Keep the tires between 15 and 22 PSI depending on terrain, bed in the brakes, and dial the throttle start settings to your comfort so it doesn't leap at walking speeds. In conclusion, this bike delivers what its look promises. Big speed, big torque, big presence. It's not a nimble city runabout, and it's not a technical trail machine, but it is a blast on open pavement and dirt roads. If you're okay with the heft and the realistic range numbers, the smiles per mile are real. If the battery label matters to you, and it should, verify the capacity you're getting and set your expectations accordingly. That transparency would make an already fun machine even easier to recommend. To learn more about the TUTTIO Dual Motor Ebike, please check the comments section. Thank you for watching.